Hey, how you doing? I I've no idea how I'm going to start this video. Who knows? Hey, how you doing? I found something a little bit interesting, and I thought you might like to see it. See it? Hear it? Hey, how you doing? I found something quite interesting, and I thought that I might share it with you, because it's kind of what I do, right? As you well know, I love this book here. This is Allanson-Winn's book, Boxing from the All England series. I've got a couple of versions of this. This one is a really beautiful condition, almost mint condition book. It's a slightly later one. It's published in 1911. I think the others were slightly earlier than that. My other one's in really, really poor condition. I think I prefer that one. But this one is lovely. And I was reading through it because I wanted to tell you something interesting about this book, because I'm going to give this copy of this, not this one. This one's mine. You can't have it. But I'm going to scan it, and I'm going to give it out to everyone that's supporting me on Patreon. So if you want a copy of this, this exact book here, I'm going to put that up for my supporters. Anyway, I wanted to make a video about this book, because that's, I love it, and I wanted to share that with you. And I realised that when I was reading through it, that I think Roland George Allanson-Winn, 5th Lord Headley, is throwing a bit of shade at Captain Barclay. The video I did on Captain Barclay recently, if you haven't watched that, go and watch it. It's fantastic. He trained Tom Cribb for his fight against Jem Belcher and did some amazing things. Absolutely fantastic. He was the best trainer that England had to offer at that point in history. But Roland George Allanson-Winn is a bit of a kind of student of history, as well as the arts of recreational violence. He was a swordsman and a stick fighter, as well as a boxer, and wrote on all of those different subjects. One of the reasons I love his book so much is that he's got a real appreciation of the older styles of boxing, which a lot of the transitional era writers don't tend to have. When you look at people like Donnelly, he doesn't really talk an awful lot about the old style of boxing. He's very focused on this transitional era. However, Allanson-Winn's a little bit different. He talks about grappling, he talks about infighting, he talks about how to deal with somebody that's kicking you, that sort of thing, and that's all in here. It's brilliant. But he also talks a bit about training. And when I read his bit on training, after having done the research to make the video on Captain Barclay, it seemed really pointed. So I thought I'd read it to you, see what you think. Am I the only person that has this problem? This is a nose that's been punched many times. I'm sure you're aware of that. It's been broken many, many times. It's not quite even, and it's certainly not particularly symmetrical anymore. But what that means is when I put my glasses on it, they don't kind of sit flat. And don't get me started on bloody earbuds and cauliflower ear either, but we'll do that one another time. Talk about that when we're talking about wrestling. But anyway, here we go. Chapter 16, Training. Recent years have witnessed many improvements, but few subjects have made more rapid advances and are now better understood than the art of dieting and generally training a man for any particular muscular effort. That's probably fair, to be honest, isn't it? Formerly, whether the question was one of preparing for rowing, running, or fighting, our forefathers stuffed the victim. God, I can't talk. Our forefathers stuffed the victim with raw beefsteaks morning, noon, and night until the very sight of meat was loathed and abhorred. Sweating was resorted to, and rightly. though in many instances it rather weakened than otherwise in consequence of the unwholesome diet failing to properly assimilate. The refinement of the art of training was not then understood. All were treated too much alike, and there was but little consideration for age, temperament, and general habit of body. You are in training, and therefore must eat this food after your morning's run of 2 or 3 miles. That feels really pointed, doesn't it? All this has now changed, and though the subject is well understood, it may not be out of place to give a few general hints on this very important question. Training is requisite for all sports, though it varies much according to the kind of exercise you're training for. For instance, the training for boxing and rowing is very similar, but quite a different regime is necessary to get a man fit for the cinder path. He goes on to talk a bit about training and what he recommends, and it's fascinating stuff. We'll make a video more on that. I think I've talked about it before, but I don't know. I feel like I have. It seems like the sort of thing I probably would do. But yeah, the idea of saying, raw beef steaks and running before breakfast, it's just like that is what Barclay was doing, right? I'm not the only person that sees that Allanson-Winn is casting a bit of shade there. It's interesting because Allanson-Winn was born the year after Captain Barclay died, so they never actually met. Whether they'd have met and moved in the same circles and got along had they been alive at the same time, I don't know. Probably, because I think they were both very, very interesting people with a real kind of focus on recreational violence. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. I thought you might like to know. What do you think? Do you think Captain Barclay was pointedly being insulted there, or not? Who knows? Stick something in the comments and let me know. And if you aren't subscribed to Patreon and you would like a copy of this book, get over there. I only put out 1 paid post a month, so you can pick your amount. I think it starts at about £4 a month. And I give out a scan of one of the many books in my collection every month as part of that paid post, and only Patreon supporters get that. I'll shut up now. I'll see you soon. Bye.